Hi, Dr. Mura. It's a privilege to have this special interview with you. Over the past few years, you have grown online. I'm looking at your Facebook page right now, DrMuraHealth. You're able to reach about 1,000 people, and during that time, you're able to also provide lifestyle intervention programs for different people in South Africa. And many people follow you online and are curious to know what is Dr. Mura Health about. And so that's why we're having this interview to kind of dive deeper into what Dr. Mura Health is about. So I have a few questions that I want us to go through, and I trust that by the end of this, everybody will know what Dr. Mura Health is about, and most importantly, what you bring to the table. So
Right.
let's just jump into it. But it's a privilege to be having this interview with you
Oh,
today.
thank you. All right. Thank you, James, for this. Looking forward to ask some questions, and yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. So to start off with, what is your background in health and wellness?
Yes. Yeah. So for me, well, to start with, I'm a medical doctor. Uh, uh, that's the background. But just prior to that, I've been always interested in health. And I think I started with a little bit unfair advantage, having been born in a community of faith that I believe that your body is, the temple of God. That made me very, very curious from when I was a child to understand how the body works and what one can do to be able to keep the body healthy. So, and then after that, then of course, I was interested into from high school things like physiology. I mean, talk about biology that it was called then, and then I went to medical school, and yeah. So, but yeah, at medical school, I was very, very, excited that definitely now I'm going to learn more about how the body works, of course, and what one can actually do to be able to keep this body healthy. But somehow I was a little disillusioned or disappointed that we at medical school, the focus was the situation when it comes to really what one can do to be able to keep this beautiful body that God created for us to keep it optimal. Aspect of nutrition was something that was a brush off. Of course, we did learn about anatomy, physiology, pathology, and of course the drugs. Looking how the disease happened. I think the knee-jerk reaction from the way we were taught, it was they have to be a drug for that. So that's kind of the background, and of course the background after that. Of course, when I finished medicine, of course, during my internship, that's where I started seeing the burden of disease. I don't know, when we were at medical school, yes, we'd be going to the hospital, doing the rounds and clinical rotations, but it wasn't until I started internship that I realized actually this is a problem where you have the chronic disease such as hypertension, diabetes, heart disease. But then you realize that there has to be something that can be done to be able to mitigate, to prevent, even be able to optimally, manage these conditions. But from medical school to the hospitals, it is all medication. Of course, there is a lot of medication, but I was somehow, medication is not working. Just to give an example, here comes someone who is a diabetic, comes in, you prescribe the metformin and other medication, and 6 months later you come back, you find that their blood sugar is not still under control. Their health is deteriorating. Their blood pressure is high. The sugar levels are high, and now you need to start them probably on insulin. So you realize that once you're classified into the category as diabetes, of course the medication it didn't in acute setting. Of course, the medication do help, but on the long run, medication is not a solution. Yes, at the medical school we did talk about a bit of lifestyle change, but that was probably like one line.
Wow.
When you ask any doctor even today, what is the lifestyle change? No doctor can tell you. I
Wow.
guarantee you from medical community, they won't know what it is. It was the lifestyle change. No one can explain what it is. How does it work? What kind of thing? And it was something that you can do that, but eventually you need to start on medication. So the medication prolongs you chronically. With that comes with some other side effects condition. The disease will progress literally. It's the medication is probably more to keep you, to prevent the inevitable that's going to
Right.
come. But then when I started checking that, I realized not only that in the health center community where talking about the doctors, the nurses, also started getting sick. I mean, in fact, doctors sending medication, nurses. And for me, sorry if I'm taking long on this, but for
No,
me, my
it's good.
epiphany was
Yeah.
literally when I was in one of the ICU. It was kind of 8 to 10 days in ICU, and of course, from this side of the world where we are, we don't have the luxury of having so many doctors looking after our patients. So you'll be like one doctor looking after about 8 to 10 patients. And then you have, of course, a nurse or a sister who's going to be with you and assisting 2 or 3 patients. And for me, this for me was like this auto stop. The patient, of course, got a cardiac arrest. So that is basically, well, the heart basically stop. We have to do some form of resuscitation. Now, as I ran to do resuscitation, of course, you have to coordinate with you need a sister with a sister. You're doing chest compression. There is many other things that involved. But the sister who was with me, I realized this was a little bit, obese. This sister was dyspneic arrest. That is, you can see just resting is basically breathing very fast and is having difficulty breathing. Now, when you start doing these activities, especially resuscitation, you have to be very, very active.
Right.
I realized if I even asked her to do chest compression, I mean, she's also just got a collapse, and then I will have 2 people that I have to
Wow.
deal with. That's why I realized how can in health community, how can we talk about health that is as a doctors as the people in healthcare when the image of our health doesn't even match that. That's for me was like no. Basically, we don't reflect the health image. So, if that is the case, what is the confidence that the patient has in us? That's why I started searching a little bit more, and then I learned about lifestyle medicine, which
Okay.
was for me how actually you can. I mean, my eyes were like open. So
Right.
yes, people are dying of these diseases, but actually the research has shown actually no, when people change their lifestyle, do certain things, change their diet, the exercise, it's better, and so on, they actually can treat better this condition to the point where actually some of this condition can be reversed.
Wow.
So for me, like wow, this is new. And so it was for me amazing to realize that this disconnect between what the science world is showing and what we actually practice in medicine.
Wow.
It's a mind blowing to see that. So the actual science shows this, but what you practice is totally different. So anyway, I started learning, and then I certified in lifestyle medicine. In lifestyle medicine is lifestyle medicine. I'm a physician now, and that's why I started actually taking patients and see how this works. So that's to cut this story short. That's in my background. So I have been very, very passionate about this. What lifestyle medicine can do, what lifestyle change intervention can do, and I think for Africa, where today the burden of lifestyle diseases are the most surpassing the communicable diseases. Lifestyle disease is another term that is commonly used is non-communicable diseases. In the past, of course, in Africa, poor infrastructure and so on, things like cholera, diarrhea, and all this infectious disease, that's has been the burden of disease. But now, we're not dying only from those communicable diseases. Now, non-communicable diseases that are brought by the way we live, are killing more African than
Wow.
the communicable disease. And that's why I believe this is the burden that is unnecessary for Africans.
Wow. Wow. That is quite a healthy background that you just
Yeah,
gave us, and showing how transition from just being a doctor and now learning about
yeah.
lifestyle medicine. That's really powerful. So, is this disconnect what inspired you to start DrMuraHealth?
Definitely. This connect of what is really likely to save patients, and So basically, I think from what I learned, of course, there is, I don't know. Number one, I think as a doctors, we're not equipped with this.
Okay.
Literally, anybody this in South Africa, in South Africa, we are trained, and medical school all around the world, nutrition is not highly esteemed. Literally, we were taught the aim seemed to be that it's a trade of drugs. That's already, there's a drug for everything. And to be honest, of course, the more drugs that are being used, the more drug industry gain.
Right.
So it makes sense. I think it's a business sense, although
it's not a health sense.
I mean, business sense to say that. I can actually show you how you can cure your hypertension in about less than 3 months. But there isn't much gain, financial sense. But I can put you on an hypertensive medication for next 30, 40 years. Anytime you take a medication, of course, there is an industry that gain all that.
Yeah,
so that's why this connect it was like, no, this is really not right. And of course, I don't think in this, pharmaceutical industry are horrible people, so to speak. But I think there is more thing that gain to financial incentives than otherwise. This is of course not to say that medication don't save lives. There is a room for medication, but on major sense of things, we can avoid medication with the lifestyle change. So it is disconnect, of course, that maybe say, hey, no way. If actually we can actually treat these people better, they can feel better, be energetic, and the more healthy they can be, they're going to be, more, function in the community, be able productive for economy. This is the way that we should be doing this. And that's how then we started DrMuraHealth and with our lifestyle interventions to help people, showing them how actually the possibility that is there. That lies in their own hands to be able to change the trajectory of their lives.
Wow, that's really good. And very powerful indeed. Especially because, like you said, most of the health community or the healthcare community is not addressing this issue. So that's really powerful. It seems to me that the approach you are taking is nutrition over medication as opposed to medication over nutrition. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, in a sense, that is, it's actually two parts. We have, of course, literally there are some diseases that shouldn't happen. If they did, they shouldn't continue at all. So we start with the prevention, but we find the majority of people that are diseased to say, hey, there is a hope. You are sick, yes, you are taking medication, fine, but you can do something. Number one, to stop the progression of your disease.
Yeah.
Second, then you can start lowering your medication accordingly to the point that you may not actually need them. And this is not a hearsay. The science is overwhelming. It just no one actually looks at it.
Wow.
And so that's the point. So the whole idea is that you don't actually need a medication to start with. But if you are on a medication, find how you can actually stop the progression of your disease and be able to start actually lowering your medication. Because, by the way, there is no medication which doesn't have side effects. We just, of course, in medicine, we need to weigh the risk versus the benefits, and then rather than if you are hypertensive, rather than you having a stroke, would rather give you medication that can cause like impotence and other problem, but you're still going to be alive.
Wow.
So, but why do you even have to go into that if you can actually? So it is, yes, to be primary, any condition whatsoever. I think the nutrition lifestyle change should be the first line of treatment.
Wow.
And only then if it fails, which most of the time won't fail unless you do something wrong, then you can start introducing this pharmaceutical kind of a medication. Because the good thing is lifestyle change doesn't have side effects. Oh, actually it does. The only side effect that it has, it's a good side effect to make you more healthier. But the other medication, it's really adverse side effects, which is bad. It's going to cause you more problem. So why do we have to go? Why should we make a medication the first line of treatment, which has more big baggage of other problems, including causing you other diseases? when we have awesomeness of the things that God has created and the brain that God has given us to be able to use it to care for this beautiful body. Yeah.
That's really interesting. What you just said there is really interesting. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna paraphrase it in my own words to see if I got what you
Yeah.
said. So,
Right.
lifestyle medicine, the only side effect of lifestyle medicine is that it makes you healthier.
That's it.
That's so good. That's so
That's
good.
it.
That is really
Yeah.
amazing. Now, you said there are some diseases that shouldn't really even happen. Could you give us
Right.
like a list of two or three of those diseases that really shouldn't even exist, that can easily be prevented or even, managed by lifestyle changes?
Of course. Single thing, let's talk about hypertension, for example.
Okay.
Hypertension, heart disease. This disease that it shouldn't happen to start with. And if it
Wow.
happens, shouldn't kill anyone today.
Okay.
I mean, so, especially I'm passionate about Africa. There is time in Africa where they couldn't find anyone who's hypertensive who have heart disease. They couldn't. And the
Wow.
reason, how did they come up with this? Of course, back in those days, in the 50s, even prior to that, they used to have these missionary people. I mean, especially Western world coming Africa,
Yeah.
having some mission centers. Then they could find these Western people coming from Europe and America. They come, they are obese, they are diseased. But when studying and looking up some study, for example, that I've done in Uganda,
Hmm.
they're trying to go in the whole Uganda hospital to find people who might be hypertensive. You couldn't find anyone who's hypertensive. You couldn't
Wow.
find anyone who has a coronary artery disease. And then you realize, and you started studying, then you said, hey, when you see what the Western is eating, it's literally that
Mm.
is clogging the arteries, causing the blood pressure, causing atherosclerosis. Basically, the native way of eating in Africa, that's what people never have such a problem. So high blood pressure,
Mm.
heart disease, it's a disease, coronary artery disease to be specific. It is a disease that shouldn't happen. It is the disease that we do it on our own. And this
Wow.
is not genetically inherited, like people like to say. Of course, some people say, no, my parents have heart disease, my family. Well, that may not necessarily be genetic or inherited. I mean, genetic, if anything, comes not more than 30% or so. The
Hmm.
reason why disease run in the family, it
Hmm.
is not because it's genetic. It is
Okay.
because the lifestyle run in the family. So you're eating
Wow.
like your parents ate. Your parents ate
Okay.
like your grandparents ate. So they continue harming your body. It's gonna continue through the generation, but it's not because that nucleus of your genome. It is because
Wow.
that it's not put in stone that you're gonna have that diseases. And now we know even better. We know the whole uh, we know how your environment, your lifestyle can change even our gene. Even if it was
Wow.
a gene, there's something we can do actually to get our gene to the gene expression to be totally different. So hypertension, heart disease, coronary disease shouldn't really happen. Things
Hmm.
like lung cancer, lung disease from smoking.
Mm. Mm.
Really, I mean,
Mm.
we know better that the more you smoke, the more the increase the chances of having lung cancer.
Mhm.
Those things really shouldn't necessarily shouldn't happen. The obesity epidemic or pandemic or epidemic that we have today, it is not because you're not genetically having to be obese. It's just we are into this environment where we burdening our body with the too much caloric energy that will become that way. These diseases shouldn't happen. The list goes on and on. I mean, it's there are diseases definitely. Oh, talking about diabetes, for example, type 2 diabetes to be specific,
Yeah.
especially in this country in South Africa. It's one of the first leading cause of death in the women. It is the second leading cause of death in the country. The first one, of course, men and women. The first one, of course, is still being the tuberculosis.
Mm.
But there is much that can actually be done. It is not suddenly that the people now genetically they all change. No. It's environment. They change their lifestyle.
Yeah.
They're eating more and more of the things that are not favorable to their bodies. And the body doesn't know anyhow to react to that. The body really suffer along. The Bible talks about how the God suffer along
Yeah.
with us, but the way that He created us, our body suffer along. Literally, the body.
Mm.
When you see how the body is resilient, it's amazing. But it comes to the point where the body cannot handle this. But the good news is
Mhm.
when you stop injuring the body, literally, in him we walk into a being. I mean, there is God created us. God is wanted to keep hitting us, but we continue getting against him. If we can literally stop harming our body, the body actually started getting better. But that's one of the secrets in medicine. We don't cure anybody in medicine.
Really?
If any doctor says that they cure anyone, that's not necessary. No, we don't.
Okay.
The secret in medicine is the body heals itself. We just
Wow.
provide that favorable environment for the body to heal. Think of the surgeon, for example. It's not the surgeon that sutured you that you know. There's no surgeon that healed the wound.
Wow.
It is in health. It is the body that you put our body in a favorable position to heal, and it is gonna heal. That's it. So that's yeah.
So the body can heal itself.
It does if we don't. If we put in that favorable, more environment to heal.
Okay.
It's a simple thing. Let's say you keep rubbing your shin against the wall. You continue doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you continue doing, eventually your skin trying to repair the body's ability to repair the wound, they're gonna fail until you even develop cancer. But when you stop, what happens is the body of course in all the necessary elements to start clotting, stop bleeding, and then the body sends some immune system to start repairing the skin and stuff. All the things we don't do. We only can provide the optimal environment for the body to heal. And that's why if you know how your body works, that's it. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, that people can understand how their body works. And if you know how your body works and how you can actually put your body in a favorable environment, favorable optimal conditions for the body to thrive, that's what the body needs. That's what the body needs. So I don't know if I actually asked
you did. You did
I'm
answer.
so passionate. I just waited to, but
you did answer my question. So you are,
right.
If I'm not mistaken, you are the first lifestyle medicine. How do you call it? Lifestyle medicine practitioner who was certified by the American College of Lifestyle Medicine in South Africa.
Oh yeah. So after when passionate about this, I'm actually the first one who in South Africa who certified as lifestyle medicine physician. That is of course done by American College of Lifestyle Medicine with the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. Yes.
Okay. So currently, how many are you in South Africa that you know of that are lifestyle medicine physician who know about this approach?
Of course, there are a couple. I don't know the number at the moment, but I know we are almost close to 10, if not more than 10. And I'm actually looking forward soon to DrMuraHealth to interview them so that they can actually inspire many people to stay inspired into lifestyle medicine. So yeah, the number is increasing.
Okay.
Which is very good news. Yeah.
The reason why I'm asking is because I know obviously in Africa it's not as big, but maybe outside of Africa, lifestyle medicine is kind of getting momentum, right? There's different people who are advocating for it. I want to know, and I'm sure the audience wants to know, what makes you unique in terms of your approach and how you plan to, teach people about lifestyle medicine and raise awareness.
Yeah, just on the last point, yes, in Africa it's not that big like Europe. In Europe, in the West, and I remember when you actually certified when I went to USA and Australia for when we were writing exams, you find other institutions actually they give incentives for doctors to come to certify into lifestyle medicine.
Wow.
Because now they understand actually this is the key, this is the future. For example, you are in Canada. Canada, for example, I think Diabetes Society of Canadian Diabetes Society Association also actually recommend talk about lifestyle change, so for diabetic patient, talk about nutrition, like a whole food plant-based, that is the key as part of the management of diseases. So the Western, they actually understand that better. In Africa, we still are catching up.
Okay.
But I think the first actually doctor to certify subject to correction in Africa is in Nigeria. Oh. So they are throughout Africa. There are also these countries that are actually seeing the light. Nice. And so it's actually growing. Yeah, coming to the question, what makes probably unique? I don't know. From what I've seen, I think that what people seem to know in the medical community is just something that I alluded to, that actually God heals. It's the body heals self, and it is God who sets up this I believe that it's so, from my understanding of how the body works, physiology, and what I've seen, pathophysiology, disease, and so on, it's so which requires so much faith for me to believe that we were just randomly appeared somehow. This issue of that we, through millions of years, the Big Bang and something happened. It's unfathomable. It doesn't add up. I believe in God. I believe that God created us. And I think that's one thing that is unique. And I believe the Buber principle, that the health principle, in fact, the healthiest, the greatest book on health is the Bible itself. And that's the thing that we're going to be expanding on. I mean, from Genesis throughout, especially when you look like at the book of the Bible, of course, the Bible simply say throughout the Bible that God, He came that He may have life and have it more abundantly. But not only that, when you see from the creation and how God, the principle that God gave us from what to eat, from the sleeping, from everything, it's about health. And that's why when you see people who are Christian, who are not, who are always not healthy because of circumstances or whatever the case is, if anything that the Bible says is not a pro-health, then it's not from God.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I think for me. If it is not pro-health, then it's not from God.
So God is pro-health.
God is pro-health. And throughout the DrMuraHealth, series, want to be talking about this as well. And there's nothing that is all of a sudden it's new. When you see the principle of health in the Bible, they keep coming. We're catching up with the science, but it's not anything new. There's nothing that is not actually in the Bible in a sense. That's why when you talk about, if I take you back, for example, in the 1950s in the United States, also Western world, this was a time where smoking was actually prescribed by doctor. I mean, you have cough, you smoke. You have this, smoking will cure everything. Yeah, wow. That's what they're saying. That time, it was a news lady, it was everywhere. But yet there is a community of faith that time that somehow they have a revelation from through the Bible and other revelation. I believe that there are, no, this is not. There is actually, when you read, I'm actually going to show you there is 7-day Adventist study in those times when everyone was saying, smoking is good for you. They say, no, smoking is bad for you.
Wow.
Smoking is bad for you. And so we find that throughout this, especially when you come to evolution and science, the kind of things. That's why evolution is not a science, by the way. It's a theory. It's a faith. I find it people had too much faith to believe that they suddenly appeared from nothing. It's more like having, like this technology that we're using, like this, your computer or your computer processor. And that the processor inside suddenly found, I created myself.
Right.
Literally, that is how bizarre it looks like. And the science should be science. When you you demonstrate and prove something.
Yeah.
And when you prove today, should be true even tomorrow and after tomorrow.
That's right.
But in medicine, we come short on the true science. For example, the scientific community that time was saying smoking is good for you. But there's something that they still don't know. The evidence was not actually clear. That's why sometimes when you wait until the whole world say, this is actually to do this, it might be too late. Before they actually start saying smoking is bad, almost 70,000 people had died from, the smoking itself. The same thing today. I mean, people that are dying of hypertension, diabetes, and so on. Yet we're only looking at that anti-diabetic medication and hypertensive medication. Yet we have ample evidence that actually the health side change can actually prevent people from dying. Now, if people, especially that are people, the community that I'm talking to, the people believe that I'm going to only change my lifestyle if my doctor tells me so, or if I see it on a TV, you'll be too late. By that time, so many people would have died, and it's too late. You find someone who died from coronary artery disease, yet the cure has been always there,
Yeah.
but no one told them. Can you understand the anguish and the pain after they get out? Actually, my aunt, my father wouldn't have died had I known
Yeah.
what I know now. So that's about the science. It's what I wanted to say about the science and the medical community or elsewhere is you can only demonstrate proof something based on what God created. So you can even say you're proving something. You prove from what? It is from what God has made to do that, but you negate God. It's more. I don't even I can't even anything about it. But God doesn't prove him. God is beyond us, of course. He
Right.
doesn't have to. He doesn't fight with us. They all improve myself. No, he just spoken.
Yeah.
And just wait until we come to that realization. And
Wow.
and I'm so glad that there are many scientists who are good scientists who realize, you know what, they have to be God. They have to be that greatest designer who created us and he had made us as we are. And yeah, so I don't know where I would do that question, but
no, that's very good. That's very good. So
yeah.
to kind of summarize what you said, so you are saying that your unique approach is your belief that God is the one who heals.
Yeah, perfect. Just from what I was talking about, that in medicine we don't heal anyone. The body does heal itself, and who gave us the body that the ability for the body to heal itself is not evolution. It is God. In Him we walk and have existence. It is Him who heals us.
Wow.
If we put ourselves in that optimal condition to heal, it is God who heals us. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's very
So
good.
that's why it would be almost impossible to talk about health without God. I mean, where do you study from? It is Him who gave that. So we cannot. That's why you cannot remove God from being healthy. Then I don't know what you mean with. It's part of the equation.
Wow. I think your approach is very
Yeah.
straightforward, because if God is the one who heals and God is the one who creates health, as you alluded to earlier, He has some principles of health in His word, right? And if we follow these principles, then we can be sure that we're going to be healthy, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, this leads me to another question, and I'm sure people are curious to know this. So, what is your plan? What is your mission? And what is your vision for DrMuraHealth?
My DrMuraHealth, our passion is African health. You know, I think for me, Africa, from how disadvantaged and it has been, we have so many problems to start with. The wars, the famine, and all that kind of thing going on. But now to come with the lifestyle diseases, that is the burden that is unnecessary. We shouldn't have to suffer from this. You know, it's something that we have. God has created Africa in a very beautiful way. We have fertile land, we have water, we have good habitation, we have a lot of things that we can actually be healthier and live longer without it to really have the burden of lifestyle diseases. So for our mission is another vision is to eradicate lifestyle related diseases in Africa.
Wow.
You know, and that I believe DrMuraHealth. That's why we want to partner with people of like mind to join us in this interesting quest to be able to get healthy. And the more we become healthier, the health is actually contagious as well. Certain people that are even want just to prevent, or those who have disease already, and just the more healthier we can become, then you become contagious. We just start with one person in the family, and then influence everyone in the family, and then their relatives, and then we have this movement that can set Africa free from lifestyle related diseases. That's really our vision. The mission is to educate people, making health principle very simple.
Okay.
People starting with how our body works, understand what we can do, because I think we take for granted that our body works. You find that we know how to mechanically, fix an engine of a car, but we don't know how our our gastrointestinal system work, or how our brain works. I think it behooves us to be able to learn how our body works, and I think My quest is our mission to be able to make it very simple to understand, yet have that in a practical way of what one can do to be able to keep our body in optimal health. So that's the mission that we are going to be doing. Not only that, helping people literally giving them, hey, you can actually do this, because we want Africa free of this burden that it shouldn't have happened to start with. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big vision and a big goal.
Yeah.
But it's doable. It's doable. Now, you said something that's interesting, that you want people to know how their bodies work. I remember when I was studying biology, I think that's what it was called in those days. I think there's
Yeah.
11 systems of the body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you saying that you believe it's the responsibility of everyone to know how each system works?
I believe so, and
Okay.
I think it's something that we should be teaching our kids so that
Wow.
they know, because the more you know how your body works, the more you can actually be careful in what you put it in and how to take care of it. It's a simple thing like so. The danger is to rely on someone knowing for you how your body works, yet it's your body. I mean, you can do that for your car. I mean, it's okay. The body car, okay, I'm going to take for service every so once in a while, fine. Even that is still too much faith. I think we should, even for the car, you should have the basics of how the car works.
Yeah.
But now, literally, we are oblivious of how our body works. We believe, oh, the doctor's going to fix it. And I'm going to watch the doctor is going to fix it. In fact, I'm actually thinking so if people knew how their lives often can be in danger with this some medical intervention, they actually think twice before. So the whole idea is to know these, like you say, these little systems, and it's so amazing. It's even if it wasn't, and maybe I'm a little bit more which word biased to say, understand how the body works. I mean, it's a wow. It's something. Even if you have no interest in health, just to understand how it works, it's gonna improve your thinking and get to understand how wonderful and fearfully one is made. So I think yes, probably not at a depth level like a medical doctor, but to understand generally how our body works, so that you can have an overall view of how your system works and what you can actually do to take care of your health.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I am curious, in your studies and in your research and in your journey, what was one like amazing, mind-blowing, mind-boggling discovery that you discovered as you were, researching, that you'd like to share with everyone? Just one, like something that blew your mind away that you discovered in health.
Yeah. So there are a couple, but just to mention one. One of the things that when we find into lifestyle medicine, you had to literally take some patients and demonstrate the effectiveness of lifestyle change. And for me, it was something that I had never seen before. Talk about the type 2 diabetes, for example. One of the major, of course, that we use as a diagnostic, but also as a way of monitoring how the diabetes is controlled, is what called hemoglobin A1C. And of course, I don't have time to go into why that is the case, but generally, so when I took a patient, they were in a kind of lifestyle intervention for 3 days. And then after 3 days, of course, we just throw them up. I remember one of the participants had hemoglobin A1C of 10.5. By the way, there are people that are more than that, but generally, for your diabetes to be controlled, it had to be 6.5 and below, kind of thing.
Okay.
That is more. Yeah, it is controlled. So for me, what we did just within 3 months, literally just change the lifestyle, do things. The A1C jumped from 10.5, went down to 8.2.
Wow.
Now that is a big point jump. And then we have someone who was a pre-diabetic. A1C was 6.3, and they went down to 5.3, but no longer that pre-diabetic.
Wow.
And the blood pressure improved. and they lost weight. I mean, they reached one of the participants actually lost close to 10 kilograms just within 3 months. Now, now when you
10
see the
kg,
patient
wow.
they are coming to the clinic, you find literally to be able to, with the medication, to be able to come down to that without a time frame, it's almost impossible. But just the lifestyle change alone, it's amazing how
Wow.
things started changing. That was for me was like why we are not teaching our patient about this.
See.
Who don't believe it? Why we're not telling this lifestyle, change how incredible they are and how they can better their health. So for me, that was like, wow. And not only that, the study that has been done. I mean, it has been almost 10 years. Dini Ornish, an American a physician, have demonstrated how heart disease is a disease that shouldn't happen, like I mentioned. If it happens, it shouldn't continue. How it can actually treat it. When they started these studies, they were trying to see probably can prevent the progression of disease, coronary artery diseases, from having heart attack or having to do all these bypasses.
Mm-hmm.
And to their surprise, they were doing that. They're like, actually, we can stop the progression of disease, but not only that, we can actually reverse the coronary artery disease. Now that, I mean, it has been 30 years. And then you may think, and this study, by the way, I mean, published in some of the prestigious medical journals like Lancet. This is there. It can be demonstrated like that. When you see something like that, you must see this is something that you should be seeing on the television, on the news everywhere.
Right.
But guess what? No, it's not. Today in America, disease is still a number one killer of people. Yet the science is, shown over and over without any shadow of doubt how that cannot, it shouldn't happen.
Yeah. Wow.
Talk about diabetes and the other diseases. The science is there. It's for me like, I mean, this is what we should be actually teaching our patients. But there are other ways. There are many other factors that involved more than the science.
Wow.
And this is one of the. I mean, just to give you another example, in medicine, things go very slow. There is a status quo that had to always be there. I gave you an example of smoking. It wasn't until so many thousand people died, but even today, smoking is still being sold. But to give another example, how it really it's that's what I wish people, and what I tell my patients, look, don't just maybe for 10 days, talk about the principle. I find it very amazing how Daniel and his friends in the Bible, they come to the king. I mean, this was a institution of being wise, the brightest people of the world in the Babylonian kingdom. And they were supposed to be fed a really good food. But, Daniel and his friends, knowing the principle of the Bible, Hebrew principle from the Bible, they're like, okay, can we just give us, we are not going to just give it for 10 days. Just for 10 days. Let's just do this. That's why I tell my patient, just for 10 days, you are not going to quit your lifestyle. Just for 10 days.
10 days.
This is what I want in my patient. Just trust this.
Yeah.
Try this for 10 days. If it doesn't work for you, don't.
Wow.
But the chances are, once you turn 10 days, you cannot go back. So, I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, we talk about these so-called medication mushrooming everywhere, the medication that haven't even scientifically proven and that are causing death and stuff. But come on, lifestyle change. What do you have to lose? Nothing. The only side effect is you get healthy. So I tell people, just for 10 days, try this. And you see what I mean? Of course, Daniel and his friend, they were 10 times wiser and better and healthier than their counterparts who were eating the king's delicate food. Anyway, I was trying to show how in medicine things take too long to change.
Yes.
And I think there is a lot of interest behind that. One, I gave you the example of smoking. Another example that is very important. So there was, believe it, there used to be a time whereby washing hands was not a practice in medicine. Now we know the hygiene. We just coming from COVID, the sanitizing and washing hands. But there was a time where washing hands, it was, no, what is that? So there was in Austria a physician, Agnes Semmelweis. So what he realized that the pregnant mothers who are delivered by a midwife, okay, they have a very slow rate of infection, childbirth infection, what we call sepsis. But yet the mother who are delivered by a physician, they were high rate of infection.
Oh, okay.
So when he started, he realized that the doctors will come from the cadavers, doing autopsy with their bare hands, and then they will come and deliver the mothers,
Wow.
holding the baby, deliver the mothers, not even having washed hands.
Wow.
And then a mother dying and the child dying were very hard. Then he said, hey, let's start washing hands with the chlorinated lime solution.
Yeah.
And then when he started just washing hands, they reduced the infection rate to the same level as those who were delivered by midwife. Midwife's hands, probably they were still probably using their hands, but they were not coming from touching the dead bodies.
Right.
The infection rate would become the same. Now, he went on to publish this study to be able to help. This was 1840s. He went on to 1840s. When you go, you're going to see this guy. He went in it was the 1840s. He wanted to publish to show, hey, physicians should wash their hands before, now we know it's a practice. So we know from one patient to another, we have to wash our hands before the cross-contamination infection. But he was very, very ridiculed. They didn't want to change. Wow. And patients continued to die. It wasn't until the mid-19th century where other doctors started finding the same thing that they started bringing this into practice. So that's how difficult the system to change. That's what I don't know, go into my detail. We know how your daily milk is not good for you. We know how many things are not good for you. But if you wait to see it in that common newspapers, on TV, oh, that would be a very, very long time. And that's why I would invite people let's do this. Let's test it and see. Because I always tell people, there's no doctor on the planet, nobody, who is more interested in your health than you. No one. No, there isn't. That is why God wants you to take care of your body. So if you believe someone is going to fix you, that's really not a good news. Anyway, I was just showing how in medicine things take long to change. It took almost 100 years, more than 50 years, for the doctors started washing hands. Yet the science was there. It was demonstrated. If you come with infection for dead cadavers, touching, delivering mothers, you're going to cause infection. They're going to have a sepsis, and they're going to die. It was demonstrated. But they still know we are not going to change. We've been doing this. We're going to do this. And this is a time people need to change. It had been done in a certain way, but they're not right. So we shouldn't wait for the whole medical community to change before continue our lifestyle.
That's so good. That's so good. And it's so interesting because not only was the science there the entire time, but even like biblically speaking, the principle had always been there. Because I believe I'm sure the washing of the hands is somewhere in the Bible, right?
Yeah. In the Bible, the principle is there.
Okay, so now as we get to the conclusion of this interview, how can people, I'm sure right now there's someone who's watching and they're already excited, they want to do the 10 days challenge, and they want to join DrMuraHealth, and how can people join this revolution of eliminating lifestyle-related diseases in Africa?
Yeah, so what we want to do is, of course, we are going to be really breaking down these health concepts so that people can understand them. And then we want to have a community at our website or some of these social media where people, as a community of people who want to change their life, they can actually join. And then you can give them a little bit, step by step what they can actually start doing, and to be able to reach it. We have like a 10 days challenge where they come in for 10 days. Let's do this. We're going to give you what to do every step of the way, and then see how you look in 10 days. And then there are people who may want to take another level where then they can actually come to see us and our practice, and also be able to attend some of the intensive lifestyle intervention that we offer. but there is something for everyone. We wanted this knowledge to be out there so that people can start really implementing and getting healthier. So they need to just stay tuned that they're going to be opportunity what they can actually do.
Perfect, perfect. So go to the website. What's the website
Yeah.
actually that people can go to get all this information?
It's so the website drmurahealth.com, drmurahealth.com, that website. And I think we have Facebook as well, Mura Health. And yeah, you have on YouTube as well. So that the link probably you can put to be able to show people where to go. But yeah, so we really wanted the people, if you really want healthier Africa, start with you. Partner with
Wow.
us. Come, let's do this. We wanted to make a difference for our health, for our planet, and also for our children, for generation to come. It all started with this. And on that note, by the way, when you look at these lifestyle diseases, people think it's the disease of old. That's not necessarily the case. It's just like I alluded to it before. The body suffered long, for so long. And then we started seeing these issues in the in the 40s and 50s. But it's not when the disease started. If, for example, talking about heart disease, it was shown that actually the heart disease, when it started from the childhood, you started injuring your body with your child, children health with it, or how you're feeding them and so on. The heart disease started at the age of 10. And that's what they started. The child of 10 years old or age started to have the evidence of heart disease to start with.
Wow.
I mean, talk about it, cancers. Cancer is not that when one gets, that diagnosis, it's not the cancer started yesterday. It's something they started 20, 30 years prior.
Really?
But you don't see it.
Wow.
But it's something is happening inside, and the body's trying to fighting that for so long. Talking about diabetes, there are people that are pre-diabetic. The body still is fighting, trying to regulate the whole homeostasis, how the body digest things, and all this kind of thing happening at the same time. But it comes the point that the body it cannot do it any longer.
Wow.
So there is a way that the evidence of disease, not old age, is something that would have started way earlier. And by the way, no one dies of old age, by the way. There's no doctor who can the cause of death old age. It doesn't exist.
So what is
people die of
disease?
Heart disease. No, no one dies of old age.
So what about?
It's not.
Let me challenge your answer. So I remember in the Bible it says that God told Abraham, "You are going to die in a good old age." So did Abraham also die of some disease, or was it old age?
What I meant to say is not that you die of old age. Okay, you die, of course, your body system started getting affected differently, and there's something that you can do to be able to improve that.
True.
If you understand what I mean. So it's not old age per se. Of course, we all gonna die. That's the thing. But it is more than important is when how it's not dying, it's how you die. People die at the age of 70, but actually when they actually started dying, the date is 70, but they start dying when they're in the 40s and 50s.
Wow.
They've been chronically not healthy, not being optimal themselves until they die. How about you aim to die at 100 or so, but when you're still walking, do your own thing? And this is how, when they started doing the science, talking about the people in the blue zones, people that live to their hundreds, and they're still functioning, they're still walking, they're still doing things, that kind of thing. So it's not necessarily about the age. It's about how your body is handling your system, so to speak. So people die from a certain disease of the systems probably not functioning as they should, but it's not necessarily based on the number. At 100, this going to be this. True. And this is the misconception that we have in medicine. People think, I'm hypertensive only because I'm getting older. That's not true. Actually, the older you become, the lower your blood pressure should be.
Wow. Okay. That is so interesting. Now, I know people may be watching this on YouTube. So what type of
Right.
content are you going to be posting on YouTube and even other social media platforms? What should people look forward to in terms of content?
Yeah. If the how to, do you really want to know how your body works? You
Mm-hmm.
know, like to know hypertension. How does it really work? What can I do actually to actually start doing something about it? Do you want to know even some health biblical principles of what you can do? And when I talk about diabetic medication, all this disease medication, these interventions that are often done, and to see the benefits versus the risk, because sometimes I think in the medicine what there is already a secondary of how much do I tell the patient, this is how much information do I give them. This is because a certain, when you see certain intervention that we do, they're actually riskier than people think. And if people we understand the risk involved, probably in the medical community, we are afraid that interventions cannot be done. But I think the people should be informed the risk involved, and they decide. And of course, one of the things that people don't think of, the major risk involved is death. You can die in a table in a hospital, things like that. The things that one would have prevented. One of the problems that we have is, prescribed medication, how it affects people and how it kills people. Yes, while it's intervention that is needed, but we need to be informed on the risks that are involved to see and to be given this other alternative. It shouldn't be only this way. What other way I can be able to do this and still be able to meet my healthy goals without suffering the side effects of this other medication or the interventions.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that answer. Now, for the last question. The last question is interesting.
Yeah.
What question do you want me to ask you that I didn't ask?
I think I mentioned a couple of things. Um, um, I think often, I think it would be the question is like, why, I guess people would say if it's true, why not every doctor talking about this?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did allude to it. It's because number one, it's a pity that we are not trained into this nutrition aspect and how the body actually. I mean, it's so ironic because of a father of medicine, we know that let's food be your medicine, let's your medicine be your food,
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. And we have so many of our pioneers of lifestyle medicine demonstrating all this, but now you find why it is not. This is not taught.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bothered my mind as well. Why there are other interests beside health that is there. It's amazing when you see they are from food industry, pharmaceutical industry. There are so much to gain from people that are sick rather than being healthy. And I always tell people, when you see these hospitals mushrooming everywhere, it's not that, oh, now it's good that we have a hospital. No, no, no. It's a sign that our health is deteriorating.
So we should have less
If we are
hospitals.
healthier, if we're healthier, we have less hospitals. The fact that we're having more hospitals, it's basically, it's not working. So why continue doing something that doesn't work? It's okay. People have to understand that. I don't know how I can emphasize this. You being healthy is not benefiting many people. I'm afraid to say that.
Mm.
And if that is the case, there isn't many interest in that in a way. It makes sense to use this, sophisticated medical intervention, which costs zero money, which costs all this because the money that have to be made. And we do need that in some instances. But I think the world that we live in, which is mainly motivated on monetary gain,
Mm-hmm.
the health aspect to get it chumped up on, because really there's no money in health, people. Because when you're
Right.
healthy, you don't need much of this intervention. Therefore, no
True.
money is going to be made. When you think about it, that is why I believe that there is this belief that I have a good healthcare cover or medical aid, whatever happened, and when I get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
It is always, prevention is always better than cure,
Yes.
literally.
And
And
also cheaper,
when the
right?
body is injured, it's cheaper. Prevention is cheaper than the cure.
Wow.
And the body started getting injured. Sometimes it becomes very, very difficult to go back to how good, to how your health was. So it is always better to know that, look, it is in each and everybody, advantage to be able to take care of their health. And I think the parents, especially, to take care of the health of your children, and all the people that are in your care. It is a huge responsibility, and that, God entrusts you with the family that you have to be able to take care for it. And if you don't know something, you have to learn it. You don't have to be a medical doctor. You need to learn just by the way, just on another note, by the way, it is not the doctor who discovered disease. Did you know that? It is the patient. Patient come with the disease. This is it. That we started knowing the disease. So it all starts with you. So it's not the doctor. It ends with you. That's it. So I think that's that's the last words I want to say. I don't know if there's a question, but so passionate about this. And I just want to see people change their lives, and
Amazing. Well, this has been quite an interesting interview. I have learned so much, and I'm sure the audience has as well. And I'm looking forward to what DrMuraHealth is going to do, the mission, the vision. And I really love the mission and the vision to, change Africa and eliminate lifestyle-related diseases in Africa. So looking forward to that. And until then, I'd like to invite all of you who are watching to go to the website, DrMuraHealth.com. All the instructions will be there. Join the revolution of eliminating lifestyle-related diseases in Africa. So let's build a healthier Africa together.
And it starts with each and every one of us. Thank you, brother. Thank you, James. Much appreciated.
That's right. You're welcome.
All right. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Cheers, man. Bye.